全球赛小采访，今天要采访的是国际服93T。Hello， Silent Flow。1093呢，作为最顶级的先锋王国之一，国际服的执政官们对你们都有一定的了解了。但是国服的执政官们呢，对你、对93T、对1093都是比较陌生的，所以要麻烦你先和大家做一下介绍哦。
Hi, my name is Silent Flow. I'm from Kingdom 93. I've been playing in 93 for 5.5 years, and I've been in leadership for 5 of those, as well as the T-Arc planner for 5 years. For those who don't know my team, we are an international team, and obviously we've been playing together for a long time now. When we first made the team, we had no goals. The only goal was to get better. We never really aimed to win OL, just do better, because I mean at the time you either had to focus for KVK or you had to focus for ARC. You couldn't really do both. And I remember there was this season 4 when JST won their KVK by zeroing themselves, and then they ended up winning OL. And that was when I realized that we can do both and we should be doing both. We should be trying our best in KVK and doing our best in ARC. So since then we started taking it more serious, started actually doing practice against each other, and over time we just got more and more experience, we got better players, and with also some luck we ended up winning last season. And if I remember correctly, we were the first international team to win OL across all 4 realms. Before us it was only Asian teams, but that makes sense because if you have the same time zone, you can practice anytime you want. But for us, we're like all over the world, and it's hard to get time. You know, it's hard to find time for practice, but we try, like we manage.
全球赛经过了几轮的角逐，你们在国际服的老对手，像是489、60GT，还有 HJK 都是已经进入了败者组，甚至是提前出局了。那你们怎么看今年的国服队伍以及国际服队伍呢？
So first of all, when it comes to international teams, I think the biggest problem at the moment is that a lot of people, like a lot of good people, have quit playing or have quit playing ARC and just playing more casually now. And we've lost a lot of good teams like Blackjack, 1v, JST has stopped like trying so much, GT also is not trying as much anymore. There's just not enough pool of good teams to keep pushing each other. I mean in the past, for example last season when we were playing against JST in the finals, we always had to come up with something different each game to try and win against them. But for this season, for us at least, after we beat 1188, we knew that we had won. It was very underwhelming. I just think that there's not enough teams that put a lot of effort into ARC at the moment, which leads to these results in the Grand Prix. It's not a surprise, honestly. The way they played, you know, their play style was very different compared to us. Even now, this Grand Prix, they are much better than last time because they're just dedicated. They can practice against each other in the Chinese game, and they always have to come up with something different. Half of the things in this Osiris League, in the international server, was mostly copies from the Chinese teams, like using stocking up for more points during mid, or using sneaky tactics to block Obelisk, you know, things like that. I think the Chinese teams are just way more creative, and they can come up with different things. So in a way we're always going to be behind them, I think. But for us at least, it is exciting because we get to play them now, we get to practice against them, we get to see new things that we haven't seen. Yeah, I mean, not worried about them. Like for me, the best team is gonna win Grand Prix. If that's them, then good for them, you know.
在今年的全球赛中，哪些队伍有给你留下比较深刻的印象呢？
Apart from what I've watched and seen, I would say the team that has impressed me the most has been 732A, and I think some of it is because they are a new team, but they already look very disciplined, very good. Obviously, for me, I would say the top 3 Chinese teams are GY, 16, 466 and 732, but I already know about 2 of them, from the last time. It's just that 732 is new and they showed some new things when they played against GT. Yeah, it just impressed us. I mean, we haven't played against them in practice yet, but they do look very good. Could be the favorites, who knows?
93T 对于今年全球赛的目标以及期待是什么呢？
So my goals for this Grand Prix is obviously to win, but if we're not good enough, then to try to go as far as possible. But also at the end of the day, for me the most important thing is to always be improving. Even if we lose a game, to see what went wrong and just learn from it and do better next time. When it comes to expectations, I just keep it real with my team, and I mean, people should also know that, like, we're an international team. It's very hard for us to practice during the weekdays. Realistically, we can only practice during the weekends because that's when everyone is free. If we were the same time zone, we could easily practice every single day at night. But for example, let's say 14 UTC is nighttime for my Asian players. It's morning for the American players who have to go to work. So it's always been a challenge to practice. It used to bother me last Grand Prix that we couldn't practice much while the other teams were practicing every day. But this time I'm fine with it. I mean, I already know that my team is very good. If we were able to practice a lot more, we would be even better. But we can't, and that's just how things are. So that's what I have to say about this.
Silent Flow， 你作为参加过好几届联赛的老玩家了，你觉得奥西里斯联赛有什么需要改变或者改进的地方吗？
If I had to give an idea to lead it, it would be a topic that has been discussed for many years, and I personally think that it would help a lot, and that is adding balanced game mode for OL, the same way they did for Olympia and ARC practice, because from what I see, most kingdoms cannot afford to play ARC and to play KVK at the same time. They don't have enough troops for OL, so if they were to play hard in KVK and zero themselves, they wouldn't have enough troops for OL. And then you've got the other aspect, which is, you know, the pay-to-win factor, where you need VIP 18, you need good armaments, good equipment. A lot of teams prefer to put spenders over better people because that person just doesn't spend, so their account is very weak. I think every team has people like that. But if everything was equal, or if they didn't want to add equal accounts, at minimum give free troops to people. So then everyone can focus easily on KVK and then not have to worry about OL. And that would also create way more competition. Things would be more fair for the international server at least. I do think we need that. Because right now there's very few teams that can afford to play KVK and OL. To just create more teams, it will be way more competitive. I don't really see the downside. I mean, I'm sure could be some problems, but I think, in my opinion, this will make everything better and things more interesting.
好了，到了我们采访的最后，你还有什么话想和大家说的吗？
I want to thank my ARC team, especially the lane captains that have been stepping up a lot lately. People like Sharon have been investing a lot of time, so I appreciate that. I also want to thank all the community, all the fans that have been supporting us, even though it does add a lot of pressure, but I mean, we just have to deal with that. And I want to thank you for this interview.
感谢 Silent Flow 接受今天的采访。那么非常期待在未来能看到1093更多精彩的比赛以及更多刺激的 KVK 哦。不期堂小采访，你还想看到哪些战队呢？欢迎在评论区告诉我哦。